probably be.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to everybody who's just joining.
Hi.
We are so excited to have you all here. Thanks for coming to listen to the poems, to read some poems. If you haven't already, if you want to share something, you can go ahead and just write your name and the name of what you'd like to read into the chat, and our co-host Alana will add you in. And we'll probably give it another 5 minutes or so, just give people a little bit more time to filter in here. Hello, welcome, Charles and Cynthia.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Alegria-Henderson's on there. That's great. Yes, you do.
Okay.
David and Barbara's daughter.
Oh, yeah.
And I know it sometimes is common courtesy to mute yourself before things of this nature, but while we're still waiting for people to come in, feel free to unmute and say hello if you like and talk amongst yourselves.
Am I supposed to be seeing somebody's screen about the event?
Or just
Yes.
welcome.
Okay.
Yes, this will be our lineup for the evening.
Okay.
Okay.
So get your name in there.
And we put our name in that via the chat.
So if you use the chat box, it will work. I'm slowly trying to.
There's Steve.
Make it work.
I'm just messing around. Sorry about that.
Hi,
Can
Steve.
you hear me? Hi, how are you?
Good.
Hey,
How are
Dave.
you?
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Steve. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, Stephen.
Hey.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, how are you?
All right. Thank you.
Yay! Ashley.
David.
Everybody's coming in. Oh, we got Nicole.
Not everybody's up on the video, though.
Do
Do you have
Welcome, everybody who's just coming in. We're super excited that everyone's here. I think we're going to give it just a few more minutes before we get started. If you need to right now, go and grab your happy hour beverage or whatever we want to toast one another to. I've got Zoe here with me. Hi, Zoe.
Hi, Zoe.
Hi,
My
Zoe.
glasses that were working.
I hope more people show up.
I hope so too.
I want to see everybody.
Come on in.
She's so good.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, hello and hello.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
Are you drinking that water?
Hi, Brittany. Hi, Mika. Hi, Erica. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
Daniel, I like your headphones.
I got the big DJ headphones on. So
Yes. We should have had you DJ. So we've got what? We've got Daniel's coming from Seattle. We've got Tucson. Nico coming from New York. Who else? Any other places represented right now?
I'm in Phoenix.
Oh, yeah. Alana's in Phoenix.
Was this your idea to start with, Alana?
This was a shared idea with Cameron, but
Okay.
yeah. So it was teamwork. And Cameron and I have known each other. We worked together at Mrs. Tiggy Winkle's when
All right.
he was in high school and I was in college.
Oh my goodness.
So it's been a while. This is a good return to working together.
So did you know Mrs. Tiggy Winkle? I mean, Pam. Did you know Pam?
You know, I never got to meet her because there was a different owner by the time.
Yeah, because she and I were in a writing class at the U of A together in the early 70s. Poetry. Yep.
Oh,
True. Hmm.
no idea.
I know, the greats and the near greats.
And Alana, are you still updating the open mic lineup?
Yes, but I'm having some computer difficulties, but
Okay.
it's going to be okay.
For people.
Oh, good.
I don't have that gallery view though where you see
I know.
everybody.
Yeah. Ask Cameron how to get to that.
And everybody, we're just going to give it a few more minutes to let other people show up. But yeah, thanks for joining us. I'll also give a little background that one of the reasons we decided to do this event was to celebrate Alana's birthday, which was last Sunday. Alana is an April baby, and one of the things she asked for was just to create an opportunity for people to share poems with one another. And so we just thought we would take that idea very seriously, take it to the max, and so we can all sing Alana happy birthday at the end or something.
No, please don't, because the thought of people singing happy birthday to me over Zoom, like, makes my skin crawl.
We sing happy birthday to her twice while we wash our hands.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate association that happy birthday will never rid itself of now.
I actually really like thinking about the art that is going to come out of this moment. And one of the things that I'm really picturing is like docu-series similar to Chernobyl, in which like someone is like really triggered by just the sound of children singing happy birthday, and they like flash back to like frantically washing their hands during this pandemic. So that's
a poem.
the world I'm living in.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the either TV series or movies where every character in them are at least 6 feet apart. And I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, single camera movie, yeah.
And Alana, I'm just adding myself. I'll open us up with the first poem so that no one else has to have that punishment.
Okay, I appreciate that, Cameron.
Awesome. Eleanor is going to read us a poem. Thanks for the happy birthdays, Daniel.
Okay. Okay. Well, I can't do it now. I'm busy.
Should we mute ourselves soon?
Yeah, I'll kind of do an intro here in just a couple minutes, and then we'll just ask everyone to mute their mics so that we can hear the readers.
Okay.
Cameron, are we supposed to see more than one screen at a time?
You know, right now we've just got it set up so that it's just, I'm sharing the main screen with the lineup. And so we thought that everyone would just need that to kind of know what order people are going to read in.
So Nicole, you might want to try, you might be on speaker view, and what you would do is go into the top corner and hit gallery view. That would show you both speakers.
Okay.
That's not showing up.
Interview option.
No, I looked there.
It should be like in the...
I think that only shows up.
Do it again. Do it again.
I think that only shows up when you get out of the screen share.
How about side-by-side mode?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go. I think
Yay!
I got at least a 4 on the screen.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Alegria.
You can't go up there, bud. No, you can't go up there.
Will we be able to see one reader on the center screen when they're reading?
You can actually, if you don't want to see my gigantic screen share, you can click, if you're in gallery view, you can click the 3 little dots and pin the video of the person who you want to see. So I'm just planning on leaving this screen up just so that if people kind of enter, that they kind of know what's going on. But yeah, if you want to see the reader, that'd probably be the best way to do it.
Cameron, I think as long as you have the screen share up there, we don't see the gallery view option, or at least I don't.
You might have to exit that the screen that you're in, leave that speaker view.
Do what?
Hit on screen share. And the other participation. Okay, so you can't do that.
Yeah, I don't know about doing that. Okay.
Yay, okay, we'll start in just a moment here. Thanks for joining in, Daniel. We would love to hear you read. Judy LeFevre is coming in with some Zoom tips about using the arrows to scroll through participants. Thank you. That's my mom, and I love her.
Love you too, son.
My friend Qayyum is here.
Qayyum, welcome.
And he is in Vermont at the monastery.
We got Linda joining.
Yeah. How'd you do that?
Hit on that little
Oh,
flag.
way up there. Okay, okay.
Yeah, we're going to get some CA Conrad. That's awesome.
Hey,
Wow.
Katie, no, I'm going to put you.
Hi, welcome, Linda.
Okay. Can we say hi to Alegria Gray, who was one of my wonderful poetry students from a year or 2 ago?
Oh, hi.
No,
Alegria.
no. You got to go. Come on. You got to go. You got to move your fanny. Come on. Come on. Yep.
Nice to see everyone.
Come on. You got to get out of here. You're obnoxious. Oh, now they're both in here.
Yay. All right, well, it is 6:40, and I know people have lives and other things to do with their evening, so I think we can go ahead and get
Not really.
started. I know you all have places to be and people to see. So yeah, I just want to begin this reading by just saying it's a little bit different for POG. We have a few of the POG people here, but if you don't know POG, we're a Tucson nonprofit that is dedicated to bringing poetry and performing arts to our community here. Typically, we just begin these readings by just giving thanks to some of the people who have helped make them happen. Tonight, really that means a big thanks to Alana, who is our co-host and who this would not have happened without. Thank you to all of you for making time for this in your evenings and adding one more Zoom to your schedules. I know that can be sort of fatiguing, but we're really excited. Hopefully this will be a little bit more life-giving and energizing than the regular kind of meetings during your day. Right now, my thanks list is really different right now. We thank the Arizona Commission on the Arts, poets and writers. We usually thank WAMO and the Steinfeld Warehouse, but we're not there right now, so sorry, WAMO. And also the UA Poetry Center, Corey Press, the University of Arizona English Department, and our patrons, all of our sponsors, Lynn Finger, Joan Larkin, Lisa Martin, Charles Alexander, Cynthia Miller, Judith LeFevre. All of those people help make these readings and events possible for you all. Yes, round of applause, silent round of applause. Before we begin also, that was really cute. Okay, so before we begin also, we usually like to do a land acknowledgement to just kind of put out there that we are residing on the ancestral homelands of the Tohono O'odham people, and even though some of you are not with us here right now, we just want to also acknowledge that COVID and the pandemic that we're in has really affected different communities much more disproportionately. And so if you are able, please give back to Indigenous Action or any kind of organizations, nonprofits that really need your dollars right now. And definitely a shameless plug, POG is one of those nonprofits. We have definitely decreased our funding. A lot of our budget comes from door admissions. And so since we're not able to host in-person events right now, it's a lot harder for us to kind of make that money that we use to bring readers from all over the country. So donate if you can on our website, pogartstucson.org. Just click support and you will be there. Okay, enough of that stuff. Let me pull up our lineup once again. And let's get into it. I'm going to open this up tonight by reading a poem from Mary Ruefle's new book from Wave out in 2019 called Dunce. She's one of my very favorites, and here we go. The poem is called Patience. I've seen her walking the streets in her greatcoat, head down, hair blown back. I've seen the dogs straining at leashes in search of her. Her perfume is death, a black silhouette. In May, she straightens up, shortcuts through the hotel lobby, losing her scarf, which was strangling her. And then I lost her. But wait, summer, my God, here she comes, floating on air. I can only imagine what she's been through, reeking like that of gardenia. And with that, we are underway, and we will turn it over to our next reader, David Weiss, who is reading In Memoriam 43 and 45. So David, go ahead and unmute yourself and take it away.
All right. Thank you, Cameron. That was lovely. So this is just from a project I've been working on, a response to Alfred Tennyson's In Memoriam. So 43. Daydream, sleep dream, wake and dream, to dream askew or adjacent to, fancy smart burdened, or maybe turn back along its axis, dubious, chance of subterranean mystics, resistant to light and creed, body arced in agony's relief. What makes red red? Penicillin killed Godin, Horace too. Humanity is a process thing, like McNugget's trademark. I prefers it this way. What makes blue blue? Spandex truth, stretched and twisted and torn, nettlesome love, avoided and scorned and chastened, debunked divinity, abandoned and confused and hurt. What makes purple purple? And the second one is uses a lot of Skip James lyrics, which I like him. 45. Hard time is here and everywhere you go. Times are harder than ever been before. New number today, actually 5. 2,124,872 and 141,454 and 653,825 and 30,998 and 10,899. What did Stalin say about statistics? At this point, doesn't matter. In the hospital now, ain't got nobody to see about me. But Im's a good man, but Im's a poor man. Can you understand? Thanks. And that's it.
Next.
To unmute to clap.
Yay!
That was
Thank you
beautiful.
so much, David. That was lovely. All right. Next up, we have Judith LeFevre reading Corona in the Countryside. And after she reads, I'll take a moment to just pause and go back, and we'll kind of read the mission for our event. And I realized I completely skipped over that. So, but before we get to that, let's hear from Judy.
Okay, thank you. I discovered a new poet today. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right. I think it's Agi Mishol, who is an Israeli poet. And again, as Cameron said, I'm reading Corona in the Countryside too. Now that death creeps round and I'm peeled down to a worn out sweatsuit, down to clumps of cookie crumbs, and afterwards the striped toothpaste that bursts from the tube, Now that on mute, you can hear the wheat growing, pecans pushing into their shells, and an unseen leaf that also, for me, lies still upon the ground. Now that they've told us to sit at home, I prefer to squeeze inside the S of shelter in place, even just inside a preposition or the two falling tears of a single quotation mark. Now, as someone in his dream soaps me in the bath with a blue sponge, and the blossoming of citrus fruit is the different smell track to the whole scene, I do as Rilke said. I let beauty and terror happen to me without thinking it's final.
I just
Nice. That was beautiful. Thank you. And a little thumbs up from Charles. I like those little non-verbal silent reactions. It's kind of like the equivalent of giving poetry snaps. Yeah, just before we move on and Charles reads, I just wanted to kind of reiterate that one of the reasons that we set up this event was just to kind of help build community among poets, people who love poetry, writers, artists working in different mediums. And it's really soothing. I think there's something really, poetry offers relief. It offers reassurance during difficult, kind of uncertain times. And there's something really special, not just about reading poems yourself, but like reading poems to someone or someone's and being read to. And so I hope we can all kind of benefit from the balm that offers. Next up, we've got Charles Alexander reading two short poems by Emily Dickinson. So Charles, please take it away.
Okay, even just seeing you all is really nice in this poetry place. I've been reading a lot of poets I love, but poems I'm not that familiar with. And this is Emily Dickinson's only poem that begins with the word patience. So I thought for tonight. So patience has a quiet outer patience. Look within. Is an insect's futile forces infinites between. Scaping one against the other, fruitlesser to fling. Patience is the smile's exertion through the quivering. So that's that one. That's from this book that preserves her poems in the order she left them sewn into little packets. And then the other one is one that's just been gnawing at me for the last several days, which is just gnarly, but I'm going to give it to you. It's poem 799 in the Franklin edition. And it's all I may, if small, do it not display. Larger for the totalness, 'tis economy. To bestow a world and withhold a star, utmost is munificence. Less, though larger, poor. And that's it. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
I love the silent applause. And I'm really happy that we're going to be able to record this event, and that silent applause will be saved for posterity. And we'll definitely share this event, the recording, on our website, on YouTube. And so you're welcome to share it far and wide with others. And hopefully this will not be the last event of its kind that we do. Next up, we've got Eleanor Allen-Henderson, reading Jean Valentine's Sanctuary. So Eleanor, please go ahead and take it away.
Hi, I just want to say Alana is my cousin, so shout out to me for having such great relatives. Okay, now I'll read this poem by Jean Valentine. People pray to each other the way I say you to someone else, respectfully, intimately, desperately, the way someone says you to me, hopefully, expectantly, intensely. You, who I don't know, I don't know how to talk to you. What is it like for you there? Here, well, wanting solitude and talk, friendship, the uses of solitude, to imagine, to hear, learning Braille, to imagine other solitudes, but they will not be me, they will not be mine. To wait in the quiet, not to scatter the voices. What are you afraid of? What will happen? All this leaving and meetings, yes, but death. What happens when you die? Not scatter the voices, drown out, not make a house out of my own words. To be quiet in another throat, other eyes listen for what it is like there. What word, what silence, allowing uncertain to drift in the restlessness, repose, to run like water. What is it like there right now? Listen, the crowding of the street, the room, everyone hunches in against the crowding, holding their breath against dread. What do you dread? What happens when you die? What do you dread in this room now? Not listening now, not watching, safe inside my own skin. To die, not having listened, not having asked, to have scattered life. Yes, I know, the thread you have to keep finding over again to follow it back to life. I know, impossible sometimes.
Ooh. That was lovely. Thank you so much. I like how many times the word solitude was it. It felt very apropos to this moment. Let's see. Next up, I get to introduce Daniel Cecil. Daniel and I we're in the MFA program up at UW together in Seattle, and I think Daniel is joining us from Seattle. So he will be reading next the poem "Unknown Duration of Fear" by C.A. Conrad. Daniel, whenever you're ready.
All right. So this is also from Wave Books, if you're not familiar. And this is actually, because I'm not a poet, I'm a prose writer, I figured I'd pick something that's a little bit in between poetry and prose. So here we go. Unknown Duration of Fear. No matter how many human beings are born to overflow the land, we are still careful to touch. We are careful with the touching. On an 8-hour flight, I took notes about a man pressed against my arm. There are so many men, and I know almost none of them, even this one, whose forearm heat mixed with my forearm heat. He slept, quietly snoring, dreaming, then jumping awake in his seat, looking to recognize me from the dream. From the airport, his face said, "Who is this?" People he loved knew him in the past being as much as an hour ago, and would know him again in the future. But in the present, he slouched against me, and no one he loved was there to see him breathing the smaller breaths of a body taking down to rest. No matter how many human beings are born to push plants and animals off the planet, we only permit touching strangers in a few locations: crowded subways, buses, airplanes. You do not touch a stranger at the checkout counter unless it's an accident. And then you apologize, sorry, say sorry. You cannot touch a stranger at the restaurant. You are not going to hold the stranger's hand while they cut meat because you will be called insane and asked to leave. If you refuse to leave, if you refuse to stop holding their hand, the police will be called. But if you know them a little, you can shake their hand, hello, and all is well. If you are close friends, you get a hug. If you are lovers, you can taste and smell each other, and this is a marvelous thing the world awaits. When he woke, a little startled, I waved my turquoise glitter fingernails. Glittering, twinkling in twilight, his eyes caught by glitter, smiling and nodding. What a nice smile a stranger can have. My notebook was small to conceal my notes for the poem, notes on the experience of pressing against a man for 8 hours, never to see him again. Will he remember the glitter? How could he possibly forget? There is no way to prevent the cost of living a day as the loss of that day, closer all the time to no more days. Death pisses me off, and I want strangers to know this about me. I will make a sign. Honk if death pisses you off, and they will honk even though we do not know each other. There's just not enough time to know us all. The goal is to relax with you, stranger, to not fear grabbing your hand at the doorway and introducing myself with a poem. It's a good one.
I heard someone once describe the sound that you make when you hear a really good poem as like the poet moo. It's like, that's a good poem.
It's an umami sound. It's a very much
that poem made me moo. That was lovely. Thank you so much, Daniel. And see, Conrad really just does have the most glorious, glittery fingertips. So, God, yeah. All right, next up, is this the birthday girl? All right, we got Alana Victoria Varner, a.k.a. Alanya, reading Between Leaving and Staying by Octavio Paz. Alana, it is your turn.
I also just want to extend my gratitude to everyone for doing this. I live alone, and so I spend a lot of time with my weird thoughts, and so poetry has been a really nice exercise for me, and hearing y'all's poems and thoughts and feelings has been really nice right now, so I appreciate that. So this is from A Draft of Shadows, and I will read. A solid transparence, the day is caught between leaving and staying. All of it is seen but elusive. The horizon is an untouchable nearness. Papers on the table, a book, a glass. Things rest in the shadow of their names. The blood in my veins rises more and more slowly and repeats its obstinate syllable within my temples. The light makes no choices, now changing a wall that merely exists in time without history. The afternoon spreads, is already a bay, its quiet motions are rocking the world. We are neither asleep nor awake. We merely are, merely stay. The moment is falling from itself, pausing, becoming the passage through which we continue. Also, I'm like the most emotional person ever, so now I'm crying.
I think if you don't cry at least once while you're like reading a poem, then you probably like chose the wrong poem, right? So we love you, Alana. Yeah.
Plus, it's just that kind of time in history, you know? It's all right there on the surface.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, absolutely, Lisa. Agreed. And thanks for chiming in. Yeah. You feel free to unmute yourself if you have gems of wisdom to lay out upon us. I love this format because it kind of breaks down the distance and convention of like audience and participant in a really interesting way. For anyone who's attended a POG reading or any kind of literary reading in the past, I don't know. Yeah, to me, it feels really different, and maybe you feel the same way. So I'm enjoying it so far. Thank you all for being here.
I like something of the context too. Like I loved Alana's earrings. And I love from Seattle that record collection of all those vinyl LPs behind him.
Daniel has a hell of a record collection.
I have too many, some would say.
No, there's no such thing. You're just a good collector. Okay, let's hear from Barbara Allen. We're going to hear Spring and Fall by Gerard Manley Hopkins. Oh, I love an open mic with some Hopkins. Thank you so much, Barbara. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Well, I want to say hi to Charles. It's been a while, and I'm staring at some paintings that his wife did, so it adds to the coziness of the format. Is that Cynthia?
Yes. Yeah, she's here. I am.
Hi.
Hi.
So I want to thank Alana Varner, who is my niece, for telling me about this, and also for her love of poetry, and actually for introducing me to the poem that she read. So I'm going to read this poem by Gerard Manley Hopkins called Spring and Fall. I think it's probably well known, but it seemed to hit patients on a lot of levels. Obviously, it's about aging and it's about the seasons, but also it's, I think, kind of a quiet cry to hold, be steadfast, and be patient, because if you are, there might be some wisdom at the end of that waiting and not reacting. So, Spring and Fall by Gerard Manley Hopkins. Margaret, are you still grieving over golden grow unleaving? Leaves like the things of man you with your fresh thoughts care for, can you? Ah, as the heart grows older, it will come to such sights colder. By and by, nor spare a sigh, though worlds of wanwood leaf meal lie, and yet you will weep and know why. Now, no matter, child, the name, sorrow's springs are the same, nor mouth had, nor mind expressed. What heart heard of, ghost guessed. It is the blight man was born for. It is Margaret you mourn for. Okay, thank you for letting me read that.
Thank you so much, Barbara. I love Hopkins. I always feel so incantatory and almost more song than language. So thank you for singing us a song tonight.
I also love to try to trick Barbara always into reading poems to me. Like I'll send her poems and be like, what would it be like if you read this out loud?
I also, before I move on, just want to congratulate you all on your really solid internet connections. And so next up, we've got Qayyum, who is reading descriptions of different things. I believe Qayyum is joining us from the East Coast. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. I'm in rural Vermont. It's dark, and I think if I turn on my video, I will not be in the crowd of good internet connections.
All right. Well, I'll let you leave it as is, and it's your turn, Qayyum, so whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Happy birthday, Alana, you great lover of poetry. This is one of the quarantine poems, Descriptions of Different Things. If the premise is that everything sees differently, it imputes a proximal experience, an idea extending itself into next door. Then, through the white barn doors, beyond them out onto glacial moraines, miles and miles of wash into places only meant for alluvium, and therefore unknowable. But we take good notes, humans, for the species to come, all the others that we ourselves are. Let's take time to describe different things. You take the high ones, I'll take the low. While furrowing out a burrowing owl next door, they're getting ready for a rodeo in the field where there used to be a mud bog. A tractor pull is different than watermelon eating. A sky hook is different than a corner kick. A jump start is different than a starting back. A laryngitis of sullen linebackers, a lineage of liars, a love knob of lingering overlong at a lakeside lounge. An airport is different than an airplane. An angle is a bevel on flat ground. Species-wise, we have a problem with anonymity. We imagine a sameness of matter. Imputing solidity upon the river, a lexicon naturally shrinks in isolation. It's hard to exercise freedoms if they aren't named, and naming takes so long. Naming is different. Animals don't name and have such intimacy, such knowledge. But you likely see it differently than that. Count on it. Add it to the conversation. Etch it on the golden disk being listened to by time. Such unknowableness intriguing. A hole in the earth filled with sound of running water. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Qayyum. That was beautiful. 100 extra credit points for mentioning the Voyager Golden Disc. Any poem that incorporates space and astronomy has my personal stamp of approval. And we are good note takers. That also makes me think that maybe I'll take our set list minus the names, just the titles of the poems and their authors, and share that on the POG website and on Facebook after we wrap today, just in case anyone is like what was that one poem that I really loved? And so, yeah, you'll be able to find it, no problem. Great, so we've come to the end. We've got our 10th and final, last but not least, reader, Alegria Gray. Alegria, what are you reading for us?
So these are some personal poems that I wrote. They're it's one is, I guess they're two poems that go together. One is about sleep and one is about love. So, I keep waiting for sleep to find me. Like love, she is an uncommitting and unwanting and unwilling mistress. Every time I get close to sleep, an idea pops into my head. Some desperate thought races on tracks of my mind, brainland. What a ruckus. What a nonsense. What sense is there? I don't know how to help myself sleep. Ocean sounds, wind sounds, friendly music, sheep counting, beautiful poetry, counting beads, counting windows, breathing, Tonglen, on and on. Find me, sleep, find me quick. I can't take this loneliness anymore. My heart is aching too much, and I think it might give out if my neurons keep firing in the same patterns. I'm trying to change them and think of anything other than these things. And then this is poem 2. Cleave out my eyes, for I shall never witness beauty more fine. I don't know what the point of these eyes are anymore if they aren't gazing at you. I only want to to paint your beauty. I fell in love, and now that love is gone, my Aphrodite. Oh goodness, handwriting sometimes. Oh, and it walked away. Take my eyes and leave me blind. I have no reason to see, no sight. My sight, eyes, to gaze at you. Okay, can't even read my handwriting now. I guess that happens sometimes. Oh, no sight, eyes to gaze upon. I guess I think I'm gonna have to leave it there because I can't make out what I wrote. It's just sometimes it gets a little sloppy with my handwriting. So.
Hey, no worries. We are all in favor of works in progress, and thank you for being brave and reading us your work. And it feels so appropriate to end our reading by kind of going off into the future of what is yet unwritten and yet to be interpreted and read and reread. So thank you so much, Alegria.
Lots to come, I'm sure, on all ends. There's so much in the future.
Yeah. Well, I invite you all now to unmute and just have a raucous round of loud and echoing applause. Thank you all so much.
Happy birthday, Alana.
Happy birthday.
Yay.
Oh, and we have dogs coming in. It wouldn't be a Zoom unless there's like a pet invasion. Thank you all so much for being here, and feel free to stick around to chat, hang out, and look out for the video and check our website. Again, it's pogardtucson.org, and hopefully we'll be able to see some of you all in real life in person. We are not doing any readings for the remainder of spring or I think summer, but we hope to see you all in the fall. And until then, we'll be digital, and we just appreciate all of you so much. Thank you to everyone for being here. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Blessing.
Alana.
Bye, everybody.
Glad you too.
Now I can finally